Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitatvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the 10th chapter of Panchadashi, which is Nataka Deepa Prakaranam, and where Vidyaranya picturizes the Deepam, the consciousness is like a light, and of Natakam, the whole stage where there is an audience and there is the owner of the auditorium, and there is a dancer, and also there is an orchestra going on. So we have the Deepam, the light that is illumining all that, and light illumines indiscriminately without differentiating, hey, this is the owner, I should put more light here, and that's a dancer, I should put more light here, and so on and so forth. Without any distinctions of any kind, it floods the light, and in that light only I can see. So the whole drama of Natakam or dance is going on. The audience can witness and enjoy the drama. The dancer is also enjoying the dance, and there is a music instruments which are essentially the orchestra is playing, and they are also enjoying, and the dancer is dancing to the tune of the orchestra, at the same time innovating her own methodology. And this methodology is a dancer, so for the same music different dancers are dancing, and the whole thing being illumined by the Deepam, and that is what the stage is. And analogy is provided. Sakshi is like a Deepam, illumining everything that is going on, and the dancer and the owner as well as the orchestra and the audience. And audience are nothing but the Vishayas, the whole objects in the world, means Indriya, that is the sense objects are called the audience, and the dancer, the owner is Ahankara, and Ahankara is the ego, and Sabhyaha, the audience is the Vishayas, and Nartaki is the mind, intellect, and Taladhi, Dharinya, Akshini. So all the 5 sense organs are the 5 orchestra instruments that are needed for the dance. This is how the analogy means. Essentially, I had to visualize that it is like a drama. So it is only analogy for us to imagine, but at the same time we have to recognize that I am a Sakshi, I am a pure light, and I am in one place only, whereas the whole dance is going on. But I have nothing to do with the dance, but in my presence only all the dance can take place. And when the dances are going on, I am illumining the dance as well as the orchestra, as well as the owner of that, and the audience also. So from the Sakshi point, owner is nothing but Ahankara, and Vishayas are nothing but the whole audience that are watching, and for them only it is dancing. And the orchestra, Nartaki is the mind or the buddhi, and the instruments are the orchestra instruments are nothing but the 5 sense organs. So if you look at 15 sloka, Swasthanas samstito deepaha sarvato bhasayed Swasthanas samstito deepaha sarvato bhasyayed yatha. Sthirastayi tadha sakshi bahiranta prakashayet. Sthirastayi tatha sakshi bahiranta prakashayet. So swasthana samsitaha deepaha. Deepaha, the light that is in its own place without moving, without dancing. So it is immovable light that is illumining the whole drama that's going on, and that illumining the stage and the dancer. And sarvata bhasate, while staying in one place, it illumining everything that is going on. The dance is going on, as well as the audience are there, including the orchestra and the owner also. Same way, the sthirastayi tadha sakshi. Sakshi, the witnessing consciousness, is stiram, means it is immovable. Why it is immovable? Immovable? Because it is infinite. The infinite, which is Satchidananda, and that part of the infinite consciousness that is falling as though, quote unquote, falling on the local, the buddhi, we call it a sakshi. So sakshi and Brahman is same relationship as Ghatakasha and Mahakasha that was discussed in the 6th chapter of the Panchadashi. So sthirastayi tada sakshi bahihi antaprakashayet. It is illumining the inside and outside of the things that are going on. In the case of Deepam, it illumines the presence of the audience, presence of the Nartaki and all that, and when they all leave, it illumines their absence also. So absence and the presence both are illumined by the light. Same way, the Sakshi illumines both the ego as well as the 5 Indriyas and the Vishayas and everything that is being illumined, and the mind, that is dancer, also being illumined, their presence as well as the absence. When are they absent? When I'm in deep sleep state, the whole thing is folded as though the stage is closed for the time being, but lights are still on. Therefore, the light is lighting the absence of everything. Same way, Sakshi is illumining the absence of the mind. Absence of the mind is absence of folded mind, presence of the folded mind, where there is no subject-object distinctions are not there. So that's what essentially a Sakshi is. And Sthirastayi tada Sakshi bahihi antaprakasha. Bahihi antaha, depending upon the body, that she is going to tell in the next sloka 16 that we read now. Bahirantarvibhagoyam dehapeksha na sakshini vishaya bahya deshasta dehasyantaraham krutihi together. Bahirantarvibhagoyam dehapeksha na sakshini vishaya bahya deshasta dehasyantaraham krutihi. So I am this bahihi antarvibhagaha, the division that this is inside and that is outside from what? Not from the Sakshi point. Sakshi is everywhere actually, but it's not from the Sakshi point. That is from the Deha Apekshaha, with respect to the gross body only. So with respect to the gross body, we say things are outside, chair is outside, table is outside, and all the things that I enjoy, sense objects are outside, and this is outside what? Outside my body. So Deha Apeksha, so with Apekshaha, with respect to the gross body, na sakshini, not with respect to the sakshi. So we are talking about bahihi antaha is only with reference to the body. Bahya desasta, say bahya desasta ahankruti. So bahya desasta, the one that are outside, ahankruti, I am the notion, jiva bhavaha, the hasya antaha, inside the gross body. So here they say what is inside and what is outside. I am looking at the chair outside. or a table outside, and looking at this, say there are all various objects outside, and the according to according to the Mimamsa, which Advaita Vedanta also follows, is that the mind along with the senses move out and grasp the object. In fact, in the Yaksha Prasna, the Yaksha asked the question to the Dharmaraja, what is the fastest one, which moves the most fast, or which is that moves the fast? And the Dharmaraja answers that, Yudhishthira answers that it is the mind that travels. So I am sitting here, and when I think of the America, I am already in America. At least the mind is already in America. So it can go so fast, faster than even the light also. According to science, light is the fastest. But according to Vedanta, it is the fastest thing is essentially the mind. So mind travels faster than anything, because the moment I think about it, I am there. And so the mind along with the sense organs go there. When I am grasping now the objects that are perceiving objects, the mind along with the senses goes there and grasp the object. Objects still remain there. Senses can only grasp the attributes of the object. Attributes belong to the object only, so you cannot remove the attributes from the object. So what senses gather is only reflected attributes depending upon the capacity of the senses. So if as we said, if the eyes are color blind, then even though the color of the object is something, I may not see it, because what I see is only the reflected attributes of the object as measured by the sense organs or capacity of the sense organs. And if something is beyond the sense limit, that means if something happening in the other room, my eyes cannot see, so it's beyond the range of my eyes or beyond the range of my ears and so on, then senses cannot go and grasp the object. In that case, I had to depend upon so what's happening in Afghanistan? So my eyes cannot go there, I cannot hear what's happening there, so beyond my sense limit. In that case, then the Shabda Pramana becomes a means, or I can also depend upon the Anumana Pramana. So logical analysis is that when I am seeing the smoke outside on the hill, distant hill, I am seeing the hill and I am seeing the smoke. These are direct perceptions, but I am not seeing the fire. But I deduce that there is a fire, there must be fire there. How do I know? I cannot see it, but whenever there is a smoke, there has to be a fire. This is a concomitant relation between the what I see, that's called the hetu, and what I deduce, conclude, that's called sadhyam, is related because the smoke and the fire are related. How do I know the relation? Because in the just like in the kitchen, so there is a drishtanta. Drishtanta means an example has been established in the past, and from the example I can deduce that wherever there is a smoke, there has to be fire. It's not the other way. Wherever there is a fire, there will not be smoke. But wherever there is a smoke, there has to be fire. This has been established in the past by the example, and that's called drishtanta. And the relation between the sadhya, that means the conclusion that I am arriving at, and the hetu cause for it, or what I am seeing, that is smoke, the relation between the smoke and the fire is what is called vyapti jnanam. Vyapti means a relationship between the cause and the effect. This relation has been established in the past. If I don't know the relation, then I cannot conclude that there is a fire there by looking at the smoke. So I say there is a smoke there, and somebody says there is a fire. So how do you know there is a fire? I don't see any fire. So, but he says it's a fire because whenever there is a smoke, that means he has that knowledge, the vyapti jnanam is there. So for Anumana Pramana, I had to infer. Infer is involving an intellectual process. It's not a direct perceptual process. So logic has to be there. My mind has to be sharp enough, and the memory of the Vyapti Jnanam should be there. All that is required. Therefore, it's called indirect knowledge. It's not a direct perceive. Immediate is direct perception. And what I understand is essentially that this, whatever I cannot see, where the Indriyas cannot reach there, I had to conclude from what I observe, and using the Vyapti Jnanam. And so this sense organs and the going is called the Bahihi, outside my mind, because senses can go only outside and it grasps the object. And in the grasping object, it brings formation of a vritti, a thought in my mind. Thought in my mind is essentially formation of a vritti, and the thought contents is nothing but the information about the object that my senses have gathered. And that, when rises in my mind, then spontaneously, immediately, and the aham vritti, the knowing thought, a knower thought arises, and that is inside. So there is a bahihi, outside, is coming from the vritti jnanam, outside of a vishayam, whereas vishayam means object, and the knower thought is arising in the mind, inside, and that is essentially the I am a knower, ownership that arises in the mind only, and that arises immediately. It's not another vritti, like the pot vritti. This is a pot, this is a chair, I am doing it, but it's another thing. I am seer is not another vritti. Then in that case, I need another vritti to know that this vritti then becomes the infinite regress, or the one leads to the other. Therefore, it's not the it's immediate, and it's not a vritti type like a bahir vritti. So the vishayas are, the objects are outside, and that is bahya deshastaha. They are outside the body. And dehasyan antaraha krutihi. So in the dehasya antaha ahankrutihi. Ahankrutihi means I am a doer, I am a knower. This is coming from the antaha, inside the mind only. And deha ahankrutihi means I am a knower. Notion arises in the mind. So we have bahihi and antaha in every knowledge that takes place. There is a subject-object duality arising in the mind. Outside there are objects. Outside objects form a vritti in the mind, and also ahankriti means I am the ahankara arises in the mind inside. So that's called antaha, it's called bahihi. So that's why with respect to the body itself. We'll do now 17. Antaha sthadihi sahai antaha sthadi sahai Antaha sthadihi sahai vatshaihi antaha sthadihi sahai vatshaihi bahiryati punah punaha bahiryati punah punaha bhasya buddhista chanchalyam sakshinya aropyate vrutha. Together, antastadhihi sahai vatshaihi bahiryati punah punaha bhasya buddhista chanchalyam sakshinyaropyate vrutha. So antaha stadhihi, the dhi, that is the intellect, is antaha sa. You say intellect while within the body, being inside the gross body. Achaihi saha, along with the achaihi. Achai means here eyes, ears, and this means faculty of seeing. Eyes are here only, but when I say the sense of sight is going. So according to we said is the Vedantic, not a Vedantic actually, Mimamsic position, which is Advaitic position. So not Vedanta doesn't talk about this. So therefore, Antahasta. So it goes along with them. So Antahasta, inside the intellect, and Achaihi saha, along with the Indriyas. That's what we just now discussed, along with the Indriyas. Achaihi saha, punaha, again and again, for every time I am seeing chair here, I am seeing table, all my waking transactions, I am going outside every time along with the sense organs. Outside, inside is with respect to the body. You have to be careful. So punaha bahiryati, again. So every time I am pursuing, because Indriyas can only go outside. Yati. Punaha bahiryati, they go outside eva. Bhasya buddhista chanchalyam, and the buddhi tachanchalyam, it is illumining the intellect, and its chanchalyam, its complete movement also. Buddhi is also inside, but when I am perceiving it is going outside according to these statements, is chanchalyam, the buddhi is also going, and the movement of the buddhi means every time a thought rises, I am illumining, say I am seeing this, I am thinking, I am now thinking, I am not thinking. All these things are attributed to the I am part. It says Sachinya Aropite Vrutha. So Sachinya Aropite. So in the Sachini Aropyate, it is attributed to Sachi. Sachi means I am. So it is the buddhi that is doing all that. But I say I am doing it, I am thinking, I am not thinking, I am seeing, I am hearing, I am touching. All these things are attributed to the I am part, whereas the buddhi along with the indriyas are going around. I am only illumining what the buddhi is doing. So you have to be careful. Sakshi is there. Sakshi is always illumining whatever the buddhi is doing. So buddhi itself, along with the senses, goes there and grasps the object and forms the vishayam, and that thought is being illumined. Along with the buddhi is also illumined, and the thought is illumined, because thought is nothing but subtle material. Therefore, subtle material is sakshi illumines as a reflected consciousness, and therefore the reflection of that is called phalavyapti for the objective knowledge. So sakshini aropyate vrutha, unnecessarily, essentially unnecessarily is attributed to the sakshi. I am a seer, I am a hearer, I am a doer. So when I say I am seer, who is a seer? It says I am. Who is I am? I am pure existent consciousness that I am. But that's not actually, that is, if I say that is sakshi, because consciousness is coming from the sakshi, it cannot really see, it cannot do, it's only illumining it. But it is a buddhi that is knowing, it is in the mind only I have the knowledge. Knowledge belongs to the mind only, but activated mind. So it's called Chidabhasa. Buddhi is the one that is a knower. So the ajnanam and jnanam also occurs in the buddhi only. From the sakshi point, it illumines both jnanam and ajnanam also. And all that should be understood, because there is a notion that I am a thinker, I am a doer, who is that I? And this is what indriyarteshu vartante iti dharayan. Krishna says in the 5th chapter, we will read the Bhagavad Gita sloka here. Naiva kimchit karomiti yukte manyeta tattvavit. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Pasyan srunvan srusan jigran anashnan sopan Anaschansa Swapanchasam okay, all ans unmission Indriyan Indriyarteshu Vartanta iti Dharayan. Indriyan Indriyarteshu Vartanta Naiva Kinchit Karomi iti. I am not a doer of anything. Pasyan Spurnan means and seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, all activities of all the five senses, and I am eating, I am doing these actions, all that are done by the Indriyas. Indriyas include the five the Jnanendriyas and Pancha Karmendriyas. 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action, all are doing it, but at the same time I am unnecessarily claiming I am a doer. So this is where a difference between a Jnani versus a Jnani. In the Ajnani also the same thing happens, in the Jnani also same thing happens. But Jnani knows that I am not a really doer, but it's done by the Indriyas. So that's why Naiva Kinchit Karomiti. I am not a doer of anything. Naiva Kinchit Karomiti. Yuktaha Manyeta Tattvavidu. So Tattvavidu is a knower of what is a knower. I am untouched by this. I am never a doer in spite of all doing. Same thing is says Prakriti eva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yah pasyati tadatmanam akartaram sa pasyati. So Prakriti eva cha kriyamanani sarvani, all actions are being done by the Prakriti itself. So including tasting, seeing, touching and all that, plus every action also. And this is so Prakriti evacha karmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yah pasyati tadatmanam akartaram sa pasyati. Yaha pasyati, that whoever sees this, means whoever understands this clearly, that I am never a doer, he alone sees, means he alone knows the truth. So that's why Krishna said here, Naiva Kinchit Karomiti Iti Tattvavitu. A knower knows that I am never a doer, in spite of all the doing. So therefore doing can go on continuously. So even a Jivan Mukta, everything will be going on as usual, but he doesn't say I am a doer. He may say for transactional purposes I am a doer, knowing very well I am not a doer. So he may say I am doing, I am hungry, I ate and all that. So I am seeing this, I am saying that it's only at the transactional level. From the absolute level, he knows that I am never a doer. So that is what the knowledge is. So that's called I am Sakshi, is shifting my attention to witnessing consciousness. That's what essentially involves understanding clearly. Tattvavitu, knower, means I am never a doer in spite of this. I am never a doer, therefore I am never sufferer also, even though the body, mind, intellect suffers. So when the Indriyas do not function properly, you say, I am not able to hear, say my ears are not able to hear, essentially. You don't have to say my ears are not able to hear, you say I am not able to hear. I am hungry, I am thirsty. All this for transactional purposes one can say, knowing well, I am never thirsty or hungry, because I am all the time pure consciousness that is infinite. So that's understanding is different from transactional word. So how is this example is given here? Says the buddhi is the one that is doing all the dancing, but we attribute to the Sakshi because of not knowing it. So Sakshi Aropyate Vrutha. Vrutha means unnecessarily it is being attributed to I am part. I am part is coming from Sakshi, and this part is coming from the everything that can be pointed out. And it is this part that is doing, which is part of the Maya Prakriti itself. And I am is pure consciousness, and pure consciousness doesn't do anything because it's infinite. It cannot do anything. But I assume that it's coming from that because of in its presence everything, in the presence of the light, everything is going on. You cannot say because the light is shining, the light is dancing, Because the light cannot dance, it's only sthiram, one place. In the same way, Sakshi is sthiram at one place, but in its presence everything is happening. So let's chant 18. Gruhantaragata swalpo, Gruhantaragata swalpo, Gavakshadata pochalaha, Gavakshadata pochalaha, Tatrahaste nartyamani, Tatrahaste nartyamani, Nrutyati vatapoyatha, Nrutyati vatapoyatha. Together. Gruhantaragata swalpo, Gavakshadata pochalaha, Tatrahaste nartyamani, Nrutyati vatopi yatha, Nrutyati vatapo yatha. Gavaksha gruhantaragataha. So here is an example of this, where is an inside, there's a door is closed, there's a small hole, and the sunlight is coming through the small hole. And inside only Gavaksha, that's what Gavaksha means, small hole is coming, and the light is coming through that. And light is steady, but even though it is small, coming through a small hole, and there is a hand there inside, and it's doing dance, and in the dance of the hand, as though light appears to be dancing. Light is not dancing, light is steady, and it is coming through a small hole. But light outside Lord is everywhere. But Gavaksha is a small, Gavaksha means we used to call Gavaksha. Even in olden days, we used to have in a house where the house top has a windows, and whenever it rains, we have to close it. Otherwise, it will be open to the light. So that's called Gavaksha. So through that, light will be coming inside. So like that small hole through the door, it's coming, and the hand is dancing in front of the light, and it appears as though the light is dancing. So gruhantaragataha swalpo, small, Gavaksha, Gavakshadata chalaha. So achalaha, that is immovable light is coming from the Gavakshi. So Gavakshat Gruha antaragataha, that which enters through the small hole into the house. Swalpaha atapaha, a thin ray of sunlight. Achalaha, which is immovable. Tatra, in that. Haste narchamani, haste, when the hand is dancing, moving around, then you see that yatha, just as atapaha nutyativa, as though sunlight is dancing there. And this is a analogy of the Sakshi as though is dancing, even though Sakshi's light is only small light that is coming through, just like Gavakshi. Interesting thing is, light is all over, and only small light is entering. So all pervading consciousness is all over, but at the same time, the Sakshi is that part of the light that is as though entering into the local buddhi and illumining. That's called Sakshi, we call it. So even though the sunlight cannot be differentiated, it is pervading into the, as though illumining the local buddhi, and that we call it Sakshi, and forming a inside light, and in that buddhi is dancing, and that's what the analogy. And we think the light is dancing, it's only the buddhi that is really dancing. That's why Nartaki is buddhi, and tuning is by this orchestra coming from the sense organs, and audience are the Vishayas. All these analogies being done in order to illustrate what exactly happening in terms of perception and the knowledge wise, and this is what is called Nataka Deepa Prakaranam. We stop here and continue tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.